I was just taking a quick look at this new base model. Base model Model Y. So this is the cheapest one. And they kind of did something you don't want to do when you make a cheap vehicle. They developed like an all-new front end on this thing. So they spent money to, develop new headlights. This whole bumper is new as well, right? It's a very clean look. There's nothing over here. There's nothing over here. So this doesn't make any sense, right? They spent more money to make a cheaper vehicle. And it's really weird when you look at the standard version of the Model 3, because they did everything right there. They basically kept everything the same. They stripped out, some of the features, but they didn't make any big changes that would cost them more money. So you kind of have to ask yourself, if they're spending more money to produce a cheaper vehicle, it doesn't add up. It doesn't add up, does it? So what I think might have happened here is this new front end might have been in development basically ever since they realized that the Cybertruck was going to be a complete flop, right? A complete failure. And not just, sales-wise. I mean, it's a vehicle that a lot of people just hate, right? So, and of course, the new Model Y kind of has that front-end light bar design that was inspired from the Cybertruck. So I almost wonder if this was like an emergency redesign. They were worried that the new Model Y wasn't going to sell well, basically, because it looked similar to the Cybertruck. And so, they kind of rushed this design to market. And then they realized, they're like, holy crap, like, people are actually buying the new Model Y. Like, it's actually selling good. But now we have this new front end. Like, what do we do? What do we do with it? We already spent the money, basically, to develop it. What do we do? And so I think that's how we ended up with this new front end on this standard cheap base model. And of course, it's not just the front that we got some changes. We got these new wheels. They like to show off these 19-inch wheels. This is an option. Like, this is like $1,500. So this, cheap base Model Y, it's $5,000 less than the premium, but if you get these wheels, now it's only a $3,500 difference. Right, so to me, I don't know, I think if you're going to get the stripped base, the cheapest one, you got to get the cheapest wheels too, right? Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. Like, why are you trying to make the base model look good? Unless, like I said, maybe you do like the front end. Maybe you do like the rear end as well, right? If you're not a fan of that, it's a really cool, effect. The kind of light bar with the light shining down, the taillights like that. But maybe you don't like that either. Maybe you prefer this kind of a simpler, cleaner look. Then, I don't know. Maybe it's not about the price, Maybe, hey, take it. It's $3,500 cheaper still. I mean, take it. But, maybe you do like this cleaner, simpler look. And what's interesting about this rear end, though, that you might want to note is it's actually got the old Model Y rear hatch, basically. See that with the curved window, the curved glass? And, the whole reason they changed this whole setup was for, insurance claims, right? It's very expensive if you damage, even if you get like a little dent here or something, or even on this sits down a little bit lower too, I think, doesn't it? So it's just more likely to get banged up in a fender bender too. It's very expensive to replace this. So they changed that up. On the regular Model Ys, the premiums and stuff, they changed that up to make it easier to fix. But reverting back to this on the cheaper model makes you wonder, is it possible that, the insurance rates on this cheap model might actually be higher than on the premium models? And if that's the case, you're down to $3,500 if you get the nice wheels, and now you're spending more on insurance. Ooh, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if this is really making financial sense. But at least you are getting all of the tech on the inside. So they haven't changed any of that. Now, they did make some changes to the interior. And again, you might actually, wait a second, you might actually like this, especially if you live in like a hot climate. Yeah, the glass roof is actually closed off. It's got like just a normal headliner on it, which I think this should be an option like across the line. You know, every Tesla, that should be an option for people who don't want to basically get cooked in their car, right? It's kind of weird that they haven't. So yeah, this is going to be interesting too if you could retrofit that. People are probably going to be scrambling to find the part number on that thing. And then we do get these new seats. It's like a combination seat, right? It's that leatherette and fabric, the fabric on the, you know, on the insert, the center. And this is actually my favorite type of seat, you know, because I think that the cloth is just always so nice and it's soft and cozy to sit on, right? And you don't slide around as much. But having the bolsters and kind of the exterior, the higher wear areas in leatherette, it makes sense. And it just still makes it look a little bit more premium than just an all-cloth seat, right? So that's nice. Now, what's interesting is they've actually removed the power seat controls from the seat. And actually, I was surprised that it wasn't like this from the beginning, right? I mean, Tesla always used the scroll wheel over there to basically change everything else. You know, everything else that was power in the interior. So why, yeah, I don't know why it wasn't like this to begin with. So now you're saying, like, yeah, I don't even care about the price difference here. I actually just like this one better. I like it better. Well, there's one thing you might not like, is they cheaped out. Like, they really, this is just a bad move by Tesla because it's so petty. Is, you know, this thing's got all the hardware. You know, it's full self-driving capable. It's got all the cameras. It's got everything. You know, all the tech, as I mentioned, all the tech is there. But they actually removed the auto steer function, right? So it's still got the adaptive cruise control, but it's not going to, you know, keep you centered in the lane. It's not going to do the steering for you. Which, those two features, they kind of go hand in hand, don't they? So, and again, it's all there. You know, it's not even like they removed it. They just disabled it.